Hey everyone, so this video is for all the people who have lost faith in the One Piece anime. For all you One Piece fans who have dropped the anime, who have switched over to the manga, or even the fans who, still keep up with the anime but have lowered your expectations over time, get excited because I see a lot of things coming together that are setting the Wano arc up to be potentially the greatest One Piece anime arc ever. The first anime arc in a long time that I believe is going to be a truly fitting adaptation of the manga, and very possibly even better than the manga. That's something I thought I would never say about the anime. Longtime viewers, I'm a manga-only guy. New viewers, you should know that this is basically a manga-exclusive channel. I never thought I would be talking about the anime on this channel, let alone talking about how the anime could be potentially better than the manga. I don't even use anime clips in my analysis videos. I only use manga panels. So why am I sitting here talking to you about the upcoming Wano arc, saying how it could be the greatest anime arc and even better than the source material? Well, because for the first time in the history of One Piece, I think we have an anime arc that is not going to suffer from the two main problems that the anime normally has. And that's problem number one, animation quality, and problem number two, the big one, pacing. Okay, so One Piece has phenomenal voice actors. It's got a pretty great soundtrack. So it's got those two things locked down, but the inconsistent animation and really more importantly, the pacing hold it back from being amazing overall. That's really what separates One Piece's anime from, say, a Hunter x Hunter, right? It's the animation quality day to day or episode to episode and the pacing. So certain scenes are animated phenomenally, but other times it's like we're just looking at cardboard cutouts or still frames. And that might be okay if not for the fact that the pacing has just become unbearably slow at points. The anime is taking this epic story and dragging out every beat of the plot to the point that it's hard to keep up excitement and interest for a lot of viewers. That being said, I don't think Wano is going to have these two problems, or at least nowhere near as badly as it has been in the past. So first off, the animation. We all know that the animation is really inconsistent. Sometimes we have scenes like Snake Man versus Katakuri, but those are rare. And on the other hand, very often we have, poorly drawn characters or literal still frames, and just generally a lot of the animation quality is just really unacceptable for a series as big as One Piece. And I know a lot of people also complain about how the colors feel more washed out since the time skip. And overall, I think people tend to view the pre-time skip animation more favorably than post. For example, I think Thriller Bark animation is on average, episode to episode, better than Dressrosa's, and that just shouldn't happen. A series shouldn't be better animated 10 years ago than it is today. That being said, what are the signs that this is going to change in Wano? So first of all, the animation has, as much as I've said, negatively about the post-time skip animation so far, it has actually been on a somewhat upwards trend lately. Even though I don't regularly watch the anime, I do watch clips, and from the clips I've seen and the general feedback I've heard from anime viewers, things started getting better after Dressrosa. Zou looked nicer for the most part. Whole Cake Island was actually even praised for its animation at points. So we were already on an upwards trend. Now going off that upwards trend, it looks like Toei is actually really gearing up to make Wano something special animation-wise. We all saw that teaser about a month or so ago, and it looked promising from what little we saw, but then yesterday we got actually a full trailer, and it looked beautiful. The color scheme, the style, it all looks like there is more effort being put into making Wano visually great. And I know that's just a trailer probably composed of some of the best shots they have to work with, and that the remaining 99% of Wano could easily be a lot worse. I also understand that animation isn't just, it's not like, well, we can throw more money at Wano to solve this animation issue, but it's more so a matter of time. And since One Piece isn't seasonal, the animators do have to keep up pumping out new episodes all the time. However, there are factual changes in Toei's approach to the Wano arc that indicate that something is going to be different animation-wise this arc. There is a new director for the anime, Tatsuya Nagamine. Tatsuya Nagamine. I probably butchered his name, but this is the same guy that did Film Z, he did Heart of Gold, and the Broly movie, all of which were visually great movies. There's also a new character designer who has been hired specifically for this arc, which again means that the studio is putting in new effort into the anime's visuals for this arc. And beyond this, these are just a few points of speculation. The Reverie arc has been dragged out and made very, very flashback heavy, very possibly so that the animators can devote more focus towards putting together at least the beginning of Wano. It's also One Piece's 20th anniversary, which should inspire some effort from the anime team to make it a special year. But really the big factor I'm guessing could play a role with the Wano arc's animation is that this is a culturally significant arc. It's not just significant, in the context of the story of One Piece. This arc means something in Japan. That very well could inspire some sense of national pride or desire to do justice to this arc. And on top of that, it's very possible that there will be even more viewership interest in Japan itself for the Wano arc, which is also incentive for Toei to make this special. So bottom line, we can see positive signs for the animation going into the Wano arc, and there are some more speculative reasons for why the animation studio might put some extra spice into this storyline specifically. But really, the animation has never been the biggest problem with the anime. Like, sketchy animation, sure, it hurts your viewing experience, but it is something you can accept while watching. The real serious problem that is hard to get around is the pacing. The pacing is really what holds the One Piece anime back, because bad pacing can make it seriously difficult, even painful to get through episodes. And as we all know, the anime's pacing has been getting worse and worse over time. Like, it was actually never great. Even pre-time skip, some parts could feel slow, but as we approached the time skip, we started getting dangerously close to, the 1 chapter equals 1 episode ratio, and then all of a sudden we actually hit the pace of 1 chapter equals 1 episode, which is just insane to think about since 19 pages of material cannot be reasonably stretched over 20 minutes. But it turns out that wasn't the limit, since now we've hit rock bottom with a pace of less than 1 chapter adapted per episode. Do I expect this to change in Wano? No. Not at all. But, and this is the big reason I think the anime can be possibly even better than the manga for this arc. For the first time ever, this pacing of less than 1 chapter per episode could actually be a good thing. Why is that? Because the Wano arc is the first time in the manga in recent memory that people have been complaining actually about things feeling rushed. That's not true of recent chapters, obviously, like chapters 942 through 944 have been amazing. And overall, I think Wano has been great so far, but for a large stretch of chapters before this, people were complaining about things being rushed. And we could see that, right? Each chapter, or for at least a lot of chapters, Oda had to cut between several scenes. Some scenes would feel too brief. We often would find ourselves with missing out on some significant developments in plot lines that we just didn't have time to see. Things were being off-screened, etc., etc. Like 1 minute, 1 minute Zoro is in Ebisu town, then next minute we find out that he's actually been running across the country looking for a sword thief. 1 minute Chopper's finding Big Mom washed up on shore, but then the next minute they're on a Croco Shark together going to get Luffy. 1 minute Kid's in jail with Luffy, next minute we're reading about how he broke out of prison. And let's not forget Sanji versus Page 1. All of this is basically the absolute best thing that could be happening for the anime. Because for an anime that adapts less than a chapter per episode, there's nothing better than a storyline where it feels like there are actual gaps in the story that can be filled in. Because think about it, normally Toei is having to take a chapter with limited content and having to drag it out, right? Like, just drag all that stuff out, all that content out. But with Wano, Toei actually has chapters with a tremendous amount of content crammed in them, content that people actually want to see extended. So instead of having to artificially drag out scenes to take up more time, Toei can actually take scenes that were legitimately too short in the manga and naturally extend them to make the story better. Like, we would have genuinely liked to see more of Law's confrontation with the Alliance before he left. We would have liked to see more of that tension, more of where that argument started and ended. And I'm not going to be annoyed when Toei extends that scene. I'm going to be happy when they do that. Similarly, instead of having to make up random filler to pad out the episode, Toei can just show us scenes that we already wanted to see in the manga that were off-screened. Like Kid's prison break, Sanji's full fight with Page 1, even things like just getting to see the Straw Hats mastering their undercover roles early in the arc, like Nami's adventures as a kunoichi, or seeing how Sanji's soba business took off in the first place. That sort of filler fits naturally and doesn't ruin the flow of the story. So bottom line is, stretching things out ruins the story, and that's what Toei normally has to do, but filling in gaps can improve the story, and that's what Toei now has the opportunity to do. So if the pacing was a bit too fast in the manga early on, then Toei's pacing may actually feel like the right pacing for Wano. So all that being said, basically the Wano arc should be set up to be a phenomenal arc in the anime. Like great voice actors and music, that's a given, that always happens. But the other two areas where the anime often struggles, the animation and the pacing, they may actually even be its strengths this arc. So personally, I'm honestly very excited to be watching the anime again for the first time in years, and I encourage other manga-only readers to at least give it a try with me. That's all for this video, and if you enjoyed it, then definitely like, share, and subscribe.